What is going on, all you beautiful people over there at 5-9 Gaming? This your boy is here to talk to you about a very annoying boss fight that I had to deal with. Final Fantasy VII Intermission, the Yuffie DLC. Before we get into this, I just would like to know DLC did drop today as of this recording, which is June 10th. And man, oh man, what an amazing story DLC this was. It ties up everything and it shows this version of Yuffie as opposed to the other version of Yuffie. This boss fight is actually very annoying. As you can see, I have a recording of it. I'm about to play it in one quick second, but I'm here just to let you know, in this boss fight I'm going to give you some tips on how to beat the first two phases, and the third phase is going to be a little bit of a tricky one. But if you follow what I say, and if you just see what I do in this video, you can see it will be a little bit easier than just going in blind. Now, not to say that there are some Final Fantasy VII Remake experts that are able to do this no problem, but this video is mostly out there to those people who don't play this game or who are picking this game up for the first time. Which again, if you pick up Final Fantasy Intergrade for the PlayStation 5 for the first time, you've never played Final Fantasy VII, please do not watch this video, because it is a spoiler and it is something that you should play the base game first before stepping into this DLC. All right, we'll go on into this and I'll tell you all about what I did during this boss fight. So as you can see, for those who don't know, the final boss fight in Intermission is actually Nero. Nero is actually from Crisis Core and the Dirge of Cerberus. So being as he may, he is a very hard boss. I wonder why I'm just standing here real quick. Yeah, there we go. All right, let's skip this scene right here. So the first fight, as you can see, I take a little damage there. The first phase in this fight is actually not that hard. What I do here is I let my ATB gauge go up, so that way when I go into the new mechanic, which is synchronization, you're able to basically juggle him for a bit. You just have to have that sweet spot, you know, with this juggle here and there, and then, you know, use the synchronization of the first attack with Yuffie, you know, take out a sizable amount of health, and then do a little bit of Windstorm. You know, Stagger in this game does do a lot of damage. So as you can see, first phase, not that hard. You don't even see the early first phase like stuff that he does. So as you can see, first phase done, and now we're gonna go right into the second phase. And you see that I still have synchronization on. I've come to realize that the first two phases of this fight, synchronization is key. Okay, because not only does it help with the pressure and the stagger, it also helps when it comes into this second boss phase, where you need to have Sonon by your side half the time. Because, you know, when he goes off on himself, he just focuses on Nero, and there are some attacks that Nero does that he'll focus on Sonon and Sonon won't take damage. So this second phase, I'm going to leave, I believe I leave synchronization on for a bit, or I take it off, one of the two. But yeah, I left it on. But as you can see, having Sonon on, not only does it do a lot of damage, but it also helps with the pressure. And as you can see, I already started an early pressure. So, you know, he's taking sizable damage. Here he goes. So the thing about this boss fight, I thought first playing, because as you can see, when you get hit by certain attacks like that right now, you lose life over time without even touching, without him even touch you. Because once he does one attack, you know, he sucks life out of you. What I actually come to realize is that all that life he's taking out of you is he's not healing himself, but he's making his attacks a lot stronger. So in this fight, I made sure I at least have Kira. You could have Kiraga, I just didn't have it that early on because I didn't really focus on it, like leveling up too much. But Kiraga is something that you would definitely do. Soul Erosion. So once you hit a certain amount on your health threshold, I think it's like 1,000 HP or less, he does Soul Eruption. And what that does is it's an instant KO. So if you do not heal yourself till past the threshold, then you might as well just lose that character. And I've done this so many times that once I saw Soul Erosion, I immediately hit that Kira. And so here I use Synergized Windstorm because not only does it, you know, help with, you know, with the attacking and whatnot, it actually gives me more damage over time than as opposed to the art of the ninja, if I'm not mistaken. But as you can see, second boss fight, I did struggle just a tiny bit, but it wasn't that hard, as you can clearly see. So now we've come into this final portion of the fight. Now this is where the struggle happened. So as you can see, the outer ring of the stage is covered in his dark matter attack, which once you touch it, you will be taking that initial damage over time, and he will be taking all that life away from you. So as you can see, healing up as Yuffie, you always have to make sure that you at least have your health above half, so that way it'll make things easier. Always save your limit breaks. If you were to get an early limit break, even in the second phase, do not use it. Save it for this phase because it helps with the pressure mechanic. As you can see, doing the windstorm helps with the pressure as well, gives more pressure and gives them more damage. But now this is where things start to struggle a bit. So chaotic pulsars, obviously as you see, they're over the ground. If you're to get hit by that, that's an instant over 1000 damage. You do not want to, you know, get hit by it. And then spatial shift, he just teleports somewhere and you can't do anything about it. Dark Torrent, same thing. It's the movie, no one got hit. And, you know, I got cheesed because I was in the middle of my attack, and then he goes and does that attack, his grab attack, which you will, again, want to stay away from. So as you can see, I still kept synchronization because, again, it's not synchronization synergy, is because I just want to make sure that Sonon doesn't end up getting hit, which is working out for the most part, but you know, it's something that it's really annoying. And you see that Soul Erosion, you see how low he was. It's the KO even when he did the cure. If you're too slow on the cure, you can't do it. And so here I am trying to revive Sonon, but as you can see, it's going to be not the smartest idea. Going into this fight, again, you want Curaga. You also want a lot of healing items and Phoenix Downs. Because as you can see, the one thing that's cool about Sonon is that he does give up his life, but when giving up his life, he does revive you with the amount of HP he does have. So it is kind of nice to have Sonon on high health. But, you know, again, we all can't get the greatest of grades. So you can see that I'm slowly whittling away at his health by making sure I use the throw mechanic, because when you throw, you can also use elemental damage while keeping yourself at a distance. Most of his attacks, if you have at least above health, he won't do the very, you know, hard-hitting attacks early on. But once you get to that low health threshold, that's when he starts putting out Soul Erosion, Chthonic Pillars, all the fun stuff, you know? And there you go, Chaotic Pulsars, because I was already taking damage over time. It, you know, it really does hurt. So, you know, trying to revive Sonon to make sure that I at least have a buddy, but as you can see, it's not the smartest, but, you know, I try. Again, this boss fight is really hard and it is really, really annoying, but if you're able to do all your stuff, then it's not that hard. Dark Matter, you don't have to worry about it too much, because then it just engulfs the arena in his dark attack, which does take health over time. But since, you know, you're full health, you should be fine. And it's also best to save limit breaks. I say save limit breaks, all your limit breaks for this part of the fight, because holy heck, you are going to need it. And as you can see, Sonon is getting very, very, how you say, wrecked right now. So as you can see, I used Also, make sure you have a lot of ethers as well, because if you're going to spamming Cura, you're gonna need those ethers. So as you can see, gave this man high potion, and Soul Erosion again died. But since Sonon was alive and had 1,000 health, I at least get that health. So now this part of the fight, I gotta make sure I'm at least away. What's another cool thing to do is there's a materia that is in this game where it gives you ATB over time, and that actually does help a lot. And what it also does is when you're at least attacking, even if your attacks miss, it still gives you that ATB gauge filling. And as you can see, I'm just playing it safe, because in this part of the fight, you really want to play it safe. You do not want to get cocky or overzealous, because then if you do, it's just not the greatest. So as you can see, he's pressured. Would love it if I had someone on here, but you know, again, beggars can't be choosers. He blocks that. So now here I go using Turbo Ether, so that way I could get Cura and heal myself. Honestly, at this third phase, it's best to at least prioritize yourself more than anything, because again, since you know he does all his attacks, it's best to just throw and hit from a distance, as you can see what I'm doing right now, because when he has his wings out, his wings are actually weak to your throwing mechanic and your abilities and whatnot. So when he has his wings out during Abyssal Wing, it's best to use the throw mechanics, that way you can at least get far away and safe and start spamming him with all attacks. So you see Wing Fury, and then he goes the spatial. So it's best to really just prioritize fighting at a distance. I know a lot of you people like to go head on. It's like, oh, let me go head on and fight this guy, but it's always best to fight from a distance. And what I've come to realize is that even when he's not doing an attack, if you're to try to revive Sonon, he will immediately do Soul Erosion and instantly kill him. So it's always best to, if you want to try to save Sonon, wait till you have 2 ATB gauges filled up, so that way you can use a Phoenix out, and then you can use a Cura to at least help him stay alive. And as you can see, I am really getting scared right now, because I am not following what I'm saying right now, because I've just come to conclusion the end was the best way. But as you can see, realize, okay, weakness, let me just start doing that. So as you can see, I just wail on him. Wail like a true gacha gamer, all I can into this boss fight. And you can see that he does do a lot of damage, and the more health he does take, the more damage it is going to hurt me. But because I am doing the best I can, keeping at a distance, making sure his attacks don't hit me, and throwing when I can, you can see that it is helping me out in the end. So you see all this damage is going on? Yeah, not fun. But as you can see right there, I got a stagger. I could have used a Phoenix down and revived Sonon and then use them to help me with this part, but being as I didn't want to take the risk of wasting time, I just focused everything I can onto Nero. As you can see, it's actually working out pretty well. Just me started attacking, doing all my throw attacks, and now he is in his final little health. So I see I have 2 ATB gauge. I use Phoenix down, and then I was about to use Cura, but I forgot since he's not alive, can't use it yet. So I wait, and then what's good about this game is that you can still spam abilities when there's cutscene stuff like this. So while he's doing that, I used to make sure I had Cura queued in for when we take over again, so that way Sonon can be full health. And therefore you see Soul Erosion, because Sonon was already low health, he was going to use it, but thank goodness I had Cura. So now as you can see, it's going to be fairly simple. Now that he's this low health, it's best to just synchronize with Sonon and just wail like your life depended on it. And then you just wail, Luckily, just make sure, and then bada bing, bada boom, he is dead. And therefore, that is how I defeated Nero. Again, really hard and really annoying and difficult boss fight, but once you have, you know, the stuff down, there you go, you can do it. Again, it's best to go into this prepared. All right, you need the Phoenix Downs, you need the ethers. You can also use some health items if you run out of ether, say you use too much ether, make sure you have some mega potions or high potions just to make sure you're at least above that threshold of health. All right, guys, so that was my guide on how to defeat Nero, the final boss fight in Final Fantasy VII Intermission. It was a pain. It took me over an hour of just sitting through cutscenes over and over again, failing, but once I got it down, it was fairly simple. It's something that you can do, and hopefully it won't take you guys as long as it did for me. So there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please comment, like, and subscribe to our content. You know, talk about in the comment section about how long it took you to defeat this guy, because sure as hell it took me over now. Maybe it took you 10 if you follow this guide. Who knows? All right, thanks guys. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.